Welcome to
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Kid. We've got Up Air Mario, Neutral Air Ike, and Samus. What can Samus do? So, Samus in Smash Ultimate. I'm a big Metroid fan, and I'll just say it right now. I want Samus to be a high tier in Smash Ultimate. Hear me out though. I don't even main Samus, or any of the other Metroid characters. When I main a fighter, I'm usually maining them because of a combination of liking the character and enjoying how they play. Back in Smash Wii U, I mained Mega Man, Shulk, and Ike. Why? Well, Mega Man because I absolutely love Mega Man. Shulk because I loved how he played. I didn't even know what game he was from before Smash Wii U. And Ike because I also loved how he played. I don't even like Fire Emblem, but I thought he was a cool character and his playstyle was interesting. When I first played him, I liked how his sword had some weight to it. If you were to look at the Smash Wii U tier list, you'd see that Mega Man is in C tier, Shulk is in D tier, and Ike is in E tier. I didn't even know about tier lists when I got Smash 4. Smash for 3DS was my first Smash game. I never owned an N64, GameCube, or Wii, so I clearly had no experience with Smash before this game. Sorry if I'm going off on such a tangent. I'm just trying to make it clear that I don't want Samus to be high tier just for the sake of being high tier. Anyway, I want Samus to be high tier because I feel that's what she deserves. Isn't Metroid supposed to be one of Nintendo's main game franchises? I always considered Metroid to be rank 3 in Nintendo's main franchises. But now that I think about it though, that's definitely not true. I mean, just look at Mario. He's Nintendo's most popular character, and he's practically high tier in Smash Ultimate. I mean, he was A tier in Smash 4, and he doesn't play that much differently in this game, so I'm going to say he's high tier. I'm sure lots of pro players would agree. Zero puts Mario in high tier in his tier list videos. Now you'll probably say, oh, well, Mario's B tier in 64, E tier in Melee, and F tier in Brawl, but those are old games. I'm not saying they're obsolete or anything. I know they have their dedicated communities, except Brawl. But Samus has consistently been on the lower end of the tier lists throughout this franchise. I just want her to bask in the limelight for once. Be a character that tons of people enjoy playing, you know? Now that I've given a pretty superficial reason for why I want Samus to be a high tier, I'll talk about how she plays. Surprisingly, she's pretty fun to use in Smash Ultimate. I couldn't stand how she played in the previous game. She couldn't charge her neutral B while in midair, she was pretty slow, jab was the worst, smash attacks sucked, and just overall didn't feel great to play. Bringing the Mario example back, he's insanely fun to play in both Smash 4 and Ultimate. He's agile, has amazing smash attacks, combos are easy to pull off but don't feel too cheap, like Bayonetta's in Smash 4, and all of his attacks are just overall very good. If I was kidnapped and forced to play Mario online with a gun to my head, and the kidnapper said I'd have to win 3 matches in a row to live, I wouldn't feel too bad about that objective. If the kidnapper forced me to play Samus instead, however, I'd feel way worse because she's just harder to play. Now I'm sure you guys are probably saying, come on man, not every character can be easy to play. If that were the case, everyone would be high tier. And I understand that, but come on, they need to give her at least some combos. What's that? Down throw to forward air? You mean that insanely basic combo that literally half the roster can do at early percentages? I'm exaggerating, of course. Other than Samus and Dark Samus, I'm pretty sure these 15 characters are the only ones that can do this combo. Now, I'm not saying that's the only combo she can do. Samus can do other stuff, like down throw to neutral air and down throw to up air. On a serious note, I understand that not every character can be like Mario, and that not all of them rely on their grabs for damage. I guess I'm just saying that I want Samus to have something unique that makes people want to use her just as much as people use characters like Joker, Roy, Ken, and of course, Mario. Oh, the character itself is unique and that alone should make people want to play them over others. I understand that, but does that really matter? Kirby is pretty much the star of Smash Ultimate since he was the only one to survive that whole Galeem fight, but he's one of the worst characters in the game according to the competitive community. Anyway, I'm honestly using the term unique pretty loosely here. What I really want is for Samus to be 1. Easy to use, 2. Have a decent array of attacks that can lead to combos / mix-ups, and 3. Just be fun to use. 3 is obviously a little dumb, but personally, I think a combination of ease of use and a decent move pool aka a combination of points 1 and 2, is what makes a character fun to use. I don't even main any of the characters I've mentioned in this video, I just find them insanely fun to use. I don't really like playing online, but I have 7 characters in Elite Smash at the moment, and none of them are characters I main. I just have lots of fun playing them and feel pretty confident in my ability to use them. Why? Because they're pretty easy to use, and they have a good move pool. Like, I don't feel confident at all using Mega Man and Shulk online because they are, in my opinion, pretty technical characters. You really have to master the Monado arts to use Shulk, and have to learn to utilize your projectiles properly to use Mega Man. And I feel like it's the same for Samus. There's nothing wrong with her being harder to master than other characters, but come on Nintendo, this is the main character of one of your main franchises. You can also pull off a lot of cool stuff if you master Shulk or Mega Man, but I feel like you can't really do that with Samus since she has such an awkward moveset, some pretty bad projectiles that miss most of the time, and very weak punches and kicks. It just feels like her moves don't complement each other. I guess now I should probably provide input on how I'd make Samus a high tier, so I'll be talking about changes to her moveset and possible improvements. This part might seem biased, unreasonable, or just downright stupid depending on how you feel. The first thing I'd like to address is her neutral air. Holy hot damn, this has to be the worst nair in the game. I hate this attack so much. I think this is just because I favor the much better all-around nairs that many other characters have in this game, like, well, Mario, Link, Sheik, Fox, Ryu, Ken, etc. Unlike the name entails, their bodies aren't actually entirely encased within a hitbox. The hitboxes are usually around the lower part of the model's body. The reason these feel like an all-around nair is because the hitboxes are in the perfect spot, are the perfect size, and just last a decent bit. I really like these nairs because they're safer to throw out. If I'm in the middle of a game and I feel as though an attack I'm about to throw out won't land, I'll usually throw out a nair because it's a pretty quick, safe option. Samus's nair, on the other hand, is the exact opposite of a safe option, since it's literally just a tiny in front of her, then a tiny behind her. It's just not a useful nair in my opinion. Now, how would I fix this? I think the answer is pretty obvious. Bring back her neutral air from Melee. In that game, it was an all-around nair, and the hitboxes on that thing were massive. I feel like giving her this move would really help her out when she's in the air. Next, her jab. I remember it being the absolute worst attack in her kit back in Smash 4. You'd throw out the first hit, and that second hit wouldn't even land. And at the time of me writing the script for this video, I couldn't even properly visualize how the jab looked. I didn't want to power on my Switch just to see the animation of a character's attack, so I typed Samus Jab Smash Ultimate on Google, and the first result is a post on the Smashboards forums saying that it's funny how there's an in-game tip that basically admits Samus's jab is bad. The thing is, the first reply on this post is from a guy who lists the reasons why Samus's jab can be good. This is how I feel people will respond to this video, if anyone even sees this. They'll bring up a bunch of points saying that Samus is pretty much fine the way she is, and that there's no reason to change her moveset because her moves can do these awkward specific things that can be pretty beneficial. And I know this isn't what the guy is saying. He actually thinks the jab should be fixed, but just lists a few reasons its crappiness can be useful. But come on, jab 1 can lead to a tech chase into a downward angled forward smash? That's just so oddly specific. I wouldn't be thinking about an option like that if I was playing Samus. The only people I could see looking out for something like this are pro players. Just fix the jab, please. Either make the 2 hits connect, or give her a new jab that doesn't suck. Hey. Hey. You know that thing characters in Smash do where they can drop onto their opponents with neutral air and can follow up with the jab? Well, Samus can't really do that, but she can use the first hit of her jab to initiate a tech chase where she can then read the opponent and hit them with the forward smash. Angled downward, of course. Look, kid, I honestly don't understand a word you just said, so can you scram? I'm kinda waiting for this GameStop to restock this new game that I totally don't already have. Next is Samus's up tilt. Man, this thing is just useless. It was another horrible move in Smash 4, and I think it's still pretty terrible. It just feels like it spikes more often. The thing is, no one uses this attack. So, I have an idea. Get rid of this useless move and replace it with something more reliable. Hey, You know how they made one of Samus's victory animations that one pose she does in Samus Returns? I know this was originally in Metroid 2, but they obviously put that in because of Samus Returns, the first real Metroid game in years. So how about they put another thing from that game in here? You know, like the melee counter. I think that would be a great up tilt. You could catch someone with it, and they would set you up for another attack. Okay, I think this is a pretty good segue into my next suggestion. Combos. So, what I said earlier about me wanting Samus to have combos, I didn't necessarily mean I want her to have stuff like Mario's down throw, up air, up B combo, or something like Ken's elaborate tilt combos. When I mean combos, I really just mean I want her to have guaranteed follow-ups after certain moves. Ike can do Nair into any aerial, Ganon can do dash attack into up air, and Kirby can do down air into a bunch of up tilts. Samus needs something simple like these. If she had the melee counter from Samus Returns, she could hit someone with it, jump, then throw out an aerial that's pretty much guaranteed to land if you're quick enough. Now, let's talk about Samus's side special, the missiles. I actually did some research on the Smash Wiki to see if her missiles were any better than they were in the Wii U, and surprisingly, they are. More damage is great, less ending lag is great, them being faster is great, but I don't know. I don't really hate the attack or anything. I think the regular missiles with the whole homing aspect are pretty good. The super missile, on the other hand, just isn't as good. It just seems unreliable. It travels in a straight line, and it's super narrow. It also has a really slow startup, making it really easy to avoid. I understand that's because it's straight up stronger than regular missiles, but they just need to be a little better. The only thing I do to make the super missiles better is to give them the ability to home in on enemies too, but only slightly. Like, make it barely travel up or down depending on the positioning of the opponent. If Samus is on one end of the stage and Kirby is crouching on the other end, the super missile should hit. Anywhere else, it'll miss. I feel this aspect would make them a little more annoying to deal with. If they added that and kept the startup lag, I'd be fine with it. Now on to the final change that I'd make to Samus's moveset, her neutral special, the Charge Beam. Although it's way better than its Smash 4 iteration, I think it's still an unreliable move. I guess it's just to worry opponents when you have it fully charged because they don't know when you're going to throw it out, so they play a little differently and you're able to capitalize off of that. That's cool and all, but I want her neutral B to be a little more interesting. Let's give her multiple beams that can be switched around. So let's give her 4 beams. A standard beam, the wave beam, the ice beam, and the plasma beam. The standard beam, the one you'll start out with when the match begins, will be a tiny little energy shot that works a little like Fox's neutral B, whereas lasers do a tiny bit of damage and don't make characters flinch. She'll also be unable to move when she shoots, just like she currently does with her current neutral B. This will be the case for all the beams. She also won't be able to charge this beam in particular. Unlike Fox, however, Samus's beam will be a little less rapid and smaller in size. The wave beam will be the replacement to Samus's current charge beam. This beam and the next 2 beams can be charged. So, we all know what the wave beam looks like. A small purple dot that travels in a sinusoidal path and can go through platforms. When the beam is uncharged, Samus shoots out a tiny purple spherical energy shot that travels in a way similar to how it does in Super Metroid, where its minimum reaches Samus's feet and maximum reaches the top of Samus's head when she's standing straight. When it's fully charged, the beam should be slightly smaller than the current fully charged charge beam. It will travel much faster than the uncharged variant, but will have a much shorter amplitude to complement its speed. And obviously, for these charged beams, you'll be able to shoot them at any point no matter how charged they are. The amplitude of the sinusoidal path the wave beam takes will shorten the more charged it is. I should also mention that the despawn time for the beam will also decrease the more charged it is, just like the current beam. For the whole intangible aspect of the wave beam, I don't see much use for it, as when will you need to shoot through solid ground in a competitive setting? I don't think a Samus player would run off one end of the stage while the other player is on the opposite side of the map and try to hit them with the wave beam through the bottom of the stage. The ice beam will travel in a straight path. Its fully charged variant should be about half the size of the current fully charged beam's size. The distance it travels should also be a little shorter, kind of like X's Gaia armor shots from Mega Man X5. The special thing about this beam is that it'll have the chance to freeze opponents when fully charged, and only when fully charged. I really don't see this as much of an issue, because when you're frozen, you can't be launched, just damaged a little more when you're encased in that ice chunk. It'll definitely not be as annoying as getting buried. The thing is, I feel like this move might be a little annoying off stage. Say your opponent is a little over 100%. They're trying to make their way back to the ledge, but you shoot them with the fully charged ice beam. It freezes them and they can't mash out of it in time and die. Now, to defend this, I guess you could say Lucas's PK freeze is similar in the fact that you can hit someone with it off stage and they'll die before they can mash out of it. However, the projectile travels in a pretty distinct path that's easy to avoid off stage. It also leaves Lucas pretty vulnerable. Samus would have way more control over her ice beam since she can just jump off stage, shoot the beam, and quickly recover back to the stage. So, I don't know, maybe if someone actually watches this video, they can provide a suggestion that'll make the ice beam seem a little less overpowered in the comments section. Now on to the final beam, the plasma beam. In the 2D Metroid games, you usually get the plasma beam after getting the spacer beam, the triple shot beam. So I think this final beam should be a combination of the plasma and spacer beams, and the charge beam of course. The beam would just be 3 green horizontal lines that travel in a straight line, and when it's fully charged, it'll be faster and not much bigger than the uncharged variant. Just make the beam lines slightly puffier like in Metroid Fusion. Since the plasma beam pierces enemies in the actual games, give it that aspect in Ultimate. I don't really see that aspect of the beam having much use in competitive play anyway. I feel like this should be the strongest beam out of all of them. Now that I mention it, I should talk about how much damage and launch power each beam should have, in a general sense, not exact numbers. Okay, so the basic beam, barely any damage, absolutely no launch power. Wave beam, not much damage, but the most launch power out of all the beams. Ice beam, barely any damage, pretty much just makes opponents flinch if it doesn't freeze them. And the plasma beam does crazy damage, but has horrible launch power. Now, how would someone be able to switch between these beams? I think down special is the best option. So as we all know, Samus's down B is Morph Ball Bombs, and I think this is a pretty good move. It makes your hurt box smaller, slows down your fall speed, and the bombs stagger opponents if they hit them. So I don't want them to get rid of this move. What they should do is make it so that if you just tap down B, Samus drops Morph Ball Bombs, but if you hold down the button, a little menu shows up over your character profile, with a UI similar to that of Metroid Zero Mission. There, you'll be able to move a cursor over the beams and switch between them. If you don't make a choice soon, the menu disappears, and you can cancel out of it by shielding, rolling, or jumping. I guess you can say it's a little similar to Hero's down B. And that's it. That's all I change in Samus's moveset. Now onto some stuff that won't even affect the way she plays. Animation. Fix that silly looking running animation of hers. It just looks like she's holding a football while trying to run through a knee-deep pool of honey. Before I recorded my video of Samus running, I tried to see if there was a GIF or something online, so I searched Samus running animation Smash Ultimate on Google. What I ended up finding was a post on GameFAQs, or Game FAQs, about the dumbest looking running animations, and the original poster said Captain Falcon and Samus had the dumbest animations. I completely agree with that. So, I'm not the only one in this world that finds Samus's running animation to be weird. What happened to those super determined looking running animations Samus had in the 2D games? You know, like the ones in Super Metroid, Fusion, and Zero Mission? Well, maybe not Zero Mission. Her running animation's a little too fast there. I think Fusion has the best running animation, so give her something like that. Her up special, the screw attack, I hate it. I never liked that purplish, jumbled graphic. I've always been a fan of that green spiral screw attack sprite from Super Metroid. In Fusion and Zero Mission, it was this crappy purplish pink aura that didn't even have a distinct shape. If you were to look up gameplay of it and paused it, you'd see that the spiral shape is kind of there, but the static around it really ruins the overall shape. I just want Samus's up B to look a little better. 3D model. This is based on preference. I mean, not that the previous suggestions weren't based on preference. I just think this is a more drastic change, unlike a minor animation or graphic. Why is the main Samus model based on the other M suit? I hate that game, and I'm sure a decent chunk of the community does as well. Side note, I don't really care that Zero Suit Samus is also pretty much just like the other M iteration, but that's just because she'd look the same no matter what version of Zero Suit Samus you based her on. I guess the only thing that would be different is the patterning of her suit and the mole on her face, but I really don't care about that. Literally no one should care about that. But I digress. Back to regular Samus. I honestly don't mind that she has the other M armor, but I just like the other orange armors better. If it were up to me, I'd make her main skin the Varia suit from Prime 3. It has those cool fin spike things on the shoulder pads. Finally, alternate skins. In the traditional Smash Bros. Fashion, alternate skins are pretty much just recolors of the main model, and I'm fine with that. But Nintendo gave Mario the Builder and Wedding outfits, and Breath of the Wild Link got the Hero's tunic. These are some pretty major changes to the original models, so why not do the same thing for Samus? You can make the Fusion color variant her actual Fusion suit, and that's honestly it. I wouldn't mind only one model change, but if you had to add one more, I'd say make either the white variant the actual light suit from Prime 2, or the rust-colored variant the dark suit. So, 15 years from now, when Nintendo starts development on the next Smash Bros., I hope Samus can maybe be like how I described her in this video, tweaked graphics, moveset and all. And I hope people agree with at least some of my suggestions, if anyone even watches this video.